So this is our monkey. We use it for pulling out tree stumps. Made in the 1930s or 40s apparently. And it's very strong. So hopefully we're going to give a bit more information on how to operate it. So a cable coming out of the spool, which is on the winch, we will wind right out. Once it comes out, we'll stretch it out as far as it goes, right to the end of the spool. It goes out towards the stump you want to pull out. In our case, it's the stump that's over there, a bit too far away. We put this pulley, which is not an original pulley. Put the cable through that. So the cables come out of the spool, around that pulley, which gets hooked onto this clamping device. As far as we know, the clamping device is original, but the pulley definitely isn't. Okay, so the cable goes around that pulley, comes back around our anchor point, which in this case is this considerable stump, and back onto the winch. We've already got a cable hooked up, running over towards the stump, which will hook on. As high as possible. Just like that. Up there somewhere. Now the cable, once it's passed through that hook, needs to go into a straight line, so when tension comes on, the cable is not forced to bend where it goes through that hook. If it does, that's where the cable will break. Back over there, we're going to pull the cable through, get a bit of tension on it, and we're going to hook it into the clamping device. Until we get just enough, just the right length. There's the end of the cable. On the clamping device, the word pull is printed on there. That's where all tension is going to be. The stump's that way. Cable goes around this clamp. The cam locks down once we pull tension on it. Probably won't get much. Once we get good tension on it, there you go. Let go of that. Now, as we wind it up, get more tension on it, it'll pull tighter and tighter on that clamp, and we've had a lot of tension on this winch and it's never slipped in there at all. But down the other end, we've got to block out the top where the cable is wrapped around the stump. I'll use these pieces of bark because I don't want the cable to be pulled around a sharp edge. Not exactly sharp, but the cable will get a bend in it right there. So get my brother up to give me a hand. We'll pack some bark in here to bulk that out a bit, so we won't have a bend in the cable. Okay, cable's hooked on. We're going to take up the slack, make sure the cable is feeding onto the spool nice and straight. Pat's winding the winch at the base of the centre of the spool. Just to take up the slack. Down the other end, Nick's got the top of the cable prepared. The sharp edge of the cut-off stump is locked out, so the cable isn't being forced into a tight bend. Pat's just going to get the slack out. We're going to make sure the winch points straight at the stump that we're winching, so that the cable winds onto the spool nice and easily and straight. Looks like it's got to come over a little bit before we get too much tension on it. Looks okay. Now we just winch. Winch at the top. It's easy. The winch will wind much slower with this top section. And we get a lot of power. This giant handle. Without this pulley, you can still winch things down, but it won't be anything stuck in the ground very strong. Maybe something almost ready to come out without this pulley. It's holding nice and tight. So you can see where the cable has got a bit of a bend in it. That's probably acceptable. That bend is not too tight. Cable's got a piece of wood. Not in an ideal position. Might actually flick that out when a bit of tension comes on it. But we don't have the cable coming around the sharp edge. Looks like it's not going to pull the roots out. Maybe it might just snap the stump off, which we want to avoid. I feel the roots breaking under my feet. When most of the roots are broken and the stump's on its way out, the winch will get quite easy and Pat will swap from the top ratchet down to the bottom one, which will wind it out much quicker. Nearly there. Doesn't look like it's too hard to move. Yeah. close to it. That's it. Nice and easy. Looks like Pat's going to do that soon. Pull the winch right out, pull the cable right out. Flip the locking mechanism back over again. Cable's right out. Winch is pointing towards the tree. We're going to be pulling out, which is a very tall, dead one. Cable comes out of the winch, along the ground, around the pulley, back down towards the winch, around the anchor point, back to the winch. Pulley's hooked up. Cable that goes up to the tree goes through this locking mechanism with the word pull right there. Cable goes around. We pull tension on it, let go of the handle. Cable locks on. That'll do it. Now we start winching. First of all, we winch on the spool to take up the slack. Making sure the cable goes on where it's supposed to go. It's feeding on properly before we get it too tight. Make sure that the winch is pointing directly towards the tree so that the cable will feed on nice and easily.
Pulley.
We lift the pulley out of the dirt so it doesn't get filled up with rubbish. Once we've taken up the slack, which is nowish, give or take, pulley's lifted up off the ground. Take the bar off, stick it up the top, and operate the winch in slow winding mode. Don't forget that tree's long enough to hit you.
I know.
You know where you're going to run? Ah, and another good point is, when you're winching down a tall tree, make sure you have a clear area to run away, because when the tree starts coming down you will be running away, especially if the tree's going to reach this far. Don't forget that. Don't forget that thing there. Okay, that's up off the ground. One cable wasn't long enough, had to join it. They join it nice and easy, pull nice and tight. This tree's dead, good for firewood. It's quite tall, so it will go a long way. Cable going through the hook. It's nice and straight. You don't want that cable bent where it goes through the hook. Tree is tall, starting to move around. And we're pulling it straight down towards Pat. Get a lot of tension in there. Hey Kira. There we go, keep an eye on Kira. Come down and see what we're doing. G'day Kira. G'day. G'day. How you going? Hang on. Way over here. You know it's dirty, right? You don't have to lie down in the dirt. Vicious guard dog. Hey Kira. Hang on mate, I'm busy. Top of the tree snagged up in another one. Hello. Yeah, it is a little bit. She's over here, looking at you. Pretty noisy when they come down. I might get a few witchetty grubs out of this one. Yeah, so we will. No, witchetty grubs.
G'day, Kira.
Kira's a pig, she's been on a diet for a long time.
Power already?
No, not yet. Did the vet say how much weight Kira lost, Nick? It's because she eats everything. Can't see any, but there's plenty of signs of it. Kira knows they're down here. Yeah. Give me a witchetty grub, I'll eat it. Technically it's not a witchetty grub, but here's one. They're not witchetty grubs, but they taste like it. Oh, Kira likes them anyway.
He's on.
To face it upwards to put it on the camera.
Kookaburra, it's all yours.